Have you been following the recent news on the pneumonia wave outbreak in China? If not, let's quickly bring you up to speed. Recently, there's been a stark contrast between the official data reported by Beijing and the estimates provided by the UK-based health data firm, Airfinity. According to Airfinity, over 5,000 people are likely dying each day from COVID-19 in China. This is a huge discrepancy compared to the official data. This firm used regional Chinese data to model these figures and also estimated that there are over 1 million daily infections in the country. What's more, the World Health Organization suggests that China could be struggling to accurately tally COVID-19 infections due to a spike in cases. This comes amidst a change in China's policy regarding COVID-19, which includes stopping mass testing and no longer reporting asymptomatic cases. These changes in policy have raised concerns globally. Airfinity's mortality risk analysis suggests that between 1.3 to 2.1 million people could die in China's current outbreak. The firm predicts that there could be 2 peaks in daily cases, with 3.7 million in mid-January and 4.2 million in March. The regions currently experiencing the fastest rise in cases are Beijing and Guangdong province. A leading Chinese medical expert recently stated that only deaths caused by pneumonia and respiratory failure after contracting COVID-19 will be classified as COVID-related deaths. This change in classification could potentially downplay the extent of deaths seen in China. As we delve deeper into this issue, it's important to understand the basics. What exactly is pneumonia? Pneumonia, a term we often hear but may not fully understand. This is our starting point, a condition that's as common as it is misunderstood. Pneumonia isn't a single disease, but rather a category of lung infections that can cause inflammation in one or both lungs. Now let's dive a little deeper. Pneumonia is caused by a variety of microorganisms including bacteria, viruses, and fungi. The most common culprit, however, is the bacteria Streptococcus pneumonia. Pneumonia can also result from inhaling a liquid or chemical into your lungs, which is known as aspiration pneumonia. But what does pneumonia feel like? Well, symptoms can range from mild to severe and may include a cough with phlegm or pus, fever, chills, and difficulty breathing. For some, especially those in high-risk groups like the very young, the elderly, or those with weakened immune systems, pneumonia can become a serious, life-threatening condition. And it's not just about the immediate symptoms. Pneumonia can lead to complications like lung abscesses, where pus-filled cavities form, and pleurisy, an inflammation of the thin lining between your lungs and chest cavity. It can even lead to septic shock, a potentially deadly response to infection. Now, when we talk about types of pneumonia, we're usually referring to how the infection was acquired. There's community-acquired pneumonia, the most common type, which occurs outside of healthcare settings. Hospital-acquired pneumonia, as the name suggests, develops during a hospital stay for another illness. And then there's aspiration pneumonia, which we mentioned earlier. Just as there are different types of pneumonia, there are also different ways it can spread. Bacterial and viral pneumonia are contagious and can be spread from person to person through airborne droplets from a cough or sneeze. Fungal pneumonia, on the other hand, is typically caught from the environment and is not passed from person to person. Now that we have a basic understanding of pneumonia, let's explore how we can protect ourselves. After all, knowledge is our first line of defense in the fight against this common but potentially serious condition. Prevention is always better than cure, isn't it? Indeed, with pneumonia, this adage holds great significance. As we delve into the preventative measures against this respiratory menace, it's crucial to remember that knowledge is our first line of defense. Let's start with vaccination, our most potent weapon against pneumonia. Vaccines are designed to protect us from specific bacteria or viruses known to cause pneumonia, like Streptococcus pneumonia or Haemophilus influenzae type B. While some might argue that vaccines are mostly targeted at children, adults, particularly those over the age of 65, and those with underlying health conditions, should also consider getting vaccinated. Another vaccine worth mentioning is the annual flu vaccine. You see, influenza can often lead to pneumonia, so protecting yourself against the flu indirectly shields you from a potential pneumonia infection. It is a small step, but it can make a world of difference in maintaining your health. Next up, let's talk about hygiene. Maintaining good hygiene is a simple yet effective way to prevent pneumonia. Frequent hand washing, especially before meals and after using the restroom, can significantly reduce the risk of infection. It's also important to cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing to prevent the spread of germs. In these times, wearing a mask can also serve as a useful barrier against respiratory infections. Lastly, we cannot overlook the importance of leading a healthy lifestyle. A strong immune system is your body's natural defense against all types of infections, including pneumonia. So, how can you boost your immune system? It's all about the basics. Eat a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, and staying hydrated are also key. Avoid smoking and limit alcohol consumption, as these habits can weaken your lungs, making you more susceptible to pneumonia. Remember, the steps we take to protect ourselves are not just for our benefit. They also help to safeguard our community by preventing the spread of infections. So, let's take these preventative measures to heart and stay vigilant in our fight against pneumonia. While we take steps to protect ourselves, let's look back at how China is handling this outbreak. China's response to the pneumonia wave outbreak has been quite controversial. The nation has made significant shifts in its policies, sparking concerns on a global stage. In an unexpected reversal, China moved away from its strict COVID control measures, which had previously included mass testing and reporting of asymptomatic cases. This shift has seen infections spread rapidly across the country. Critics argue that the change in strategy came abruptly, leaving many health establishments in the country unprepared. Hospitals and funeral homes have been overwhelmed, leading to questions about the nation's readiness for such a drastic policy shift. China's handling of data has also received criticism. A leading Chinese medical expert recently stated that only deaths caused by pneumonia and respiratory failure after contracting COVID-19 will be classified as COVID-related deaths. This change in classification could potentially downplay the extent of deaths seen in China, which is causing unease amongst health experts worldwide. Furthermore, there are concerns about the transparency and accuracy of China's reported figures. The World Health Organization has suggested that China may be struggling to accurately tally COVID-19 infections due to a spike in cases. These concerns are amplified by estimates from UK-based health data firm Airfinity, which suggests that the actual number of daily deaths may be significantly higher than China's official figures. While China has faced criticism, it's important to note that it has also taken steps to manage the situation. It has held video conferences with the World Health Organization to discuss the current epidemic situation. In addition, China has adjusted its travel restrictions, no longer requiring inbound travelers to go into quarantine, though a negative PCR test result before departure is still mandatory. As we conclude, let's summarize what we've discussed so far. In the face of a global health crisis, information is our most powerful weapon. Today we've navigated through the fog of uncertainty surrounding the current pneumonia wave outbreak in China. We've scrutinized the stark contrast between the official data reported by Beijing and the estimates from third-party health data firms, such as Airfinity. The latter suggests that the daily COVID-19 death toll in China could be well over 5,000, a stark contrast to the official figures. We've also delved deep into understanding pneumonia, a serious condition that affects the lungs, making breathing difficult and leading to severe illness or even death. It's crucial to know the symptoms, which include cough, fever, and difficulty breathing. We've discussed how this disease can be prevented by maintaining a healthy lifestyle, getting vaccinated, and practicing good hygiene. Furthermore, we examined China's response to this outbreak. The change in policy, including the cessation of mass testing and no longer reporting asymptomatic cases, has raised eyebrows globally. We explored the concerns around the transparency of China's data and the potential implications of their policy U-turn. Moreover, we've touched upon the global reaction to this crisis, the travel restrictions, and concerns about potential virus mutations. We've also illuminated the human aspect of this crisis, the fear, the trauma, and the resilience of the people affected. As we continue to navigate these challenging times, let's remember to stay informed, stay safe, and look out for each other. Despite the uncertainty and controversy surrounding this outbreak, one thing remains clear. Our ability to combat this disease lies in our understanding of it and our collective efforts to prevent its spread.